Like she said, I'm Amy Hollan, and I'm from Jackson Independent, and I've taught kindergarten for 26 years. I get to retire next year. But the person who inherits my classroom is going to have a lot of new equipment in there. So one of the things that I decided I wanted to do last year is I wrote a grant for alternative seating. And with that grant last year, I got bouncy ball, we called them bouncy ball chairs, wobble T chairs where they sit on it and they wobble a little bit and it doesn't fall over. And then we got the wobble cushions, and we worked with those. Well, by the end of the year, we had lost a couple of the bouncy ball chairs because they're just like a big ball, like an exercise ball that you sit on. And if you take a pair of scissors and you go to the side of them, they deflate. So we had lost a couple of those. And so I was looking at doing a grant for this year, and I thought, well, there's got to be some other kind of seating that is as effective as those bouncy ball chairs were for getting out the energy of the students, because they are 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds, and they're asked to sit for a long period of time. So one of the things I came up with when I did a little research online was a rocking chair. And it is actually a rocking chair. And you'll see here in the picture what it looks like. And the children chose purple. Now, what I did was I wanted to see if by sitting in these chairs, if their behavior would be better, if they become more focused in the classroom than as alternative sitting into a regular chair, or even sitting in the bouncy ball chairs that we had, or the wobble chairs that we had. And what I found out was some of the benefits for this chair was, you couldn't break it. If it flipped over, it was very hard to make it flip over, because how many of you have taught kindergarten and the first thing you hear is boom, 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 and the child flipped the chair over because they put their knees up in it. Well, with this chair, they can put their knees up in it, they can put their body in it, they can turn sideways in it, and it doesn't flip over very easily. And when one does flip over, I'll say, well, you must have accomplished something. You must have been standing in it, because otherwise it wouldn't have. Now, these kids were amazing with these chairs. They liked them because they were movement. I mean, how many times you sit and see a child just rock back and forth? What's the natural movement of a kindergarten child at that age? So what I did was I got to purchase 17 chairs. So I had 17 chairs of those, and then I got rid of the bouncy ball chairs. I kept the little wobble seats that you just put on a chair and put them at my reading table. And then I took the wobble spinny chairs, which is a little purple chair that they sit on and they can spin around on. It doesn't have a back, and it helps their core, strengthens their core as they sit at some tables. And I put these chairs at some other tables. The preference was the child's. Which chair do you like the best? Most of them liked these rocking chairs better because they're more flexible. I used them during our time for reading. When they got to be a reader, I always sat in a rocking chair, and so they get to sit in a rocking chair, and they would read their stories. When we did the Dr. Seuss books, each child had to read a Dr. Seuss book to their classmates. And so they got to sit in the rocking chairs and be the teacher. Now, as you can see, these students are more relaxed in the rocking chairs. They're able to move without fear of falling out of their chairs. And if you look at some of the kids, he's turned sideways. His whole chair is actually turned sideways. And that's how he sits, because he wants to rock this way instead of back and forth. This was my favorite one. They love to sit with their knees in the chairs. And if they sat with their knees that way, usually the chair was turned around to the side so that they could rock back and forth. And they worked. Kids got wonderful handwriting that way too, by the way. See, and she's sideways was their chairs turned around when they would work. And I just felt that they felt more relaxed and comfortable, almost like they had a seating for them at home. You can't put a cushion chair like we're sitting in here, and they have to sit in that for so long in the morning before they get their first break. And these chairs were easy. They were lightweight. You could flip them upside down and put them on your tables. So when the janitor came in to mop the floors, that was good. The result was that during my observations of the running records that I used, that I thought they stayed more focused using these chairs than using the other chairs. Now, the children with a greater amount of energy, the rocking chairs were okay, but the wobble chairs seemed to be more beneficial because it was constant movement. in the wobble chairs. With these, you had to force the movement, so you were in charge of it. The wobble chairs, it was constant, and with the wobble seats, it was a constant movement. So it had to be for the child. Now, some of the children wanted these chairs, but they wanted to rock too much. So I said, if you can't sit still enough in these just to barely rock, then you're not allowed to have one. So the behavior of the classroom became better because they wanted the rocking chair. Or then some children would say, I can't handle the wobble chair, I have to have the rocking chair. So they got to make the choice, and that was good. Any questions?
What's the cost of the rocking chair?
The rocking chairs were around $59 a piece with the size I got. So I was able to get 17.